And into the wall goes Gabriel Bortoletto in the Audi.
Out comes the red flag.
Bortoletto then down to the Nouvelle chicane. He's going to clip the inside wall. Oh yeah, he did. And there goes the suspension. And out of qualifying goes the young Brazilian. And that is a huge shame for Gabriel Bortoletto and for the Audi Revolut team. What a shame. We are watching Valtteri Bottas in the Cadillac. Can he find pace to get into Q2 and give Cadillac their first Q2 appearance in Formula 1? Bottas, unfortunately, was 4.5 tenths down on a time he needs to get into Q2, getting squarely out of Anthony Nose. Bottas only 20th for the Cadillac driver. Now we're looking at Ollie Behrman getting squarely going through the final few corners there. Can Behrman get his hat into the top 16? No, he can't. Behrman only 18th, but he is out of qualifying. What can Carlos Sainz do? Currently 19th. He'll want to do better than that. Here comes the Williams, then up to the line. Can Sainz get into Q2 for Williams? He can indeed. 10th fastest for Carlos Sainz, and he pushes now Esteban Ocon out. So we lose both Hasses, both Cadillacs, and both Aston Martins in Q1. The first 6 out. Antonelli absolutely flying in the middle sector. George Russell, who's been struggling all weekend in his Mercedes, wants to find pace this weekend, and he crosses the line to stay 8th fastest. Russell is in trouble here. Piastri improves his time but stays 5th fastest. Crossing the line now with Charles Leclerc. Antonelli doesn't improve on his lap time. Here's Max Verstappen over the line, and he goes to the top by 0.2 of a second. Verstappen, who hasn't been fighting for wins so far this season, could be in a verge of fighting for his first pole of the season here in Monaco. Here's Carlos Sainz out of Anthony Nose. Can the Williams get into Q3? Here in Monaco, Sainz over the line. No, he misses out by 0.5 tenth. Unfortunately, what about his teammate Alex Albon? He misses out by 1/4 of a tenth. What a shame for him. We're on board now with the other Red Bull fighting. He should go through to Q3, and he does by going 3rd fastest. Great effort from the Red Bulls. They're back in the game suddenly. Hamilton crosses the line to go 6th fastest. He's through. What about Arvid Lindblad? Can he get the Racing Bulls into Q3 for the first time here in Monaco? No, he can't. Only 5th fastest for the rookie in the Racing Bulls. So both Williams are out, along with both Audis. Colapinto and Lindblad. Bortoletto got through to Q2 but didn't take part because of Q1 crash. Through the swimming pool and up to Raskas comes Oscar Piastri. Can the McLaren find pace? Oh, getting squarely, almost tapping the wall with the exit of Raskas there, and almost tapping the wall, and the exit of Anthony Nose. Can Piastri get his McLaren on pole for their 1000th Grand Prix? And Piastri does gain pole, provisionally with a 12.9. Lando Norris, who's on pole here last year, goes on to provisional pole this year with a 1:12. Now we're on board with Lewis Hamilton, who hasn't been on pole in Formula 1 since Hungary in 2023. He hasn't been on pole in Monaco since 2019. He will want to do just that this time in 2026, and for the first time with Ferrari. Can Hamilton find enough pace and get that car provisionally on pole around the streets of Monaco? Ferrari were coming into this weekend as the favourites, and then across the line, and at the moment they're the favourites for pole position. Hamilton takes it by 0.2 of a second. What about the Mercs? And odds out for Verstappen, fastest in the first sector. He could be a contender for pole later on in this session. Verstappen's flying, but what can the Mercs do? George Russell over the line, he goes only 3rd fastest, nearly 0.3 away from Hamilton. Antonelli goes on for provisional pole. The man that's won the last 4 races in a row is looking to take back pole and fight for 5 in a row. Verstappen again squarely going through Raskas, but can he find pace to get that Red Bull on provisional pole here in Monaco? Verstappen misses out by 1 millisecond. How close do you want to be for pole around these streets? Hamilton's got a black and white flag for waiting to follow regimented instructions as Hadjar goes only 6th fastest, but Antonelli and Verstappen are looking to be the 2 favourites for pole unless the home hero Charles Leclerc can do something. This is what happened to Charles Leclerc into Casino Square. Whoa, getting squirrely there for Charles Leclerc, and that's cost him a second, and that's why Charles Leclerc is currently 10th fastest for the Monaco Grand Prix. He'll need to hope for an absolute miracle in his final run if he's going to challenge for pole position later on. around his home streets. Yeah, I know Leclerc can have the pace to try and fight for it, but that lap is not what Charles Leclerc wanted. He'll need to hope for a second and final flying lap of absolute miracles if he wants to get another pole position for his home Grand Prix. Can Leclerc find anything and pull it out of the bag? Through to back goes Charles Leclerc, and look at the middle sector, I should say. Whoa, very squarely going through the steering pool there. Leclerc's up though by half a tenth. Will he find enough pace in the final sector to take pole away from the championship leader? Leclerc, who's been on pole for his home Grand Prix for 3 of the last 5 years, can he make it 4 in the last 6 years here at Monaco? He can indeed! Charles Leclerc has put his car on pole once again. What can the Mercs and the Red Bulls do? And maybe the McLarens? Here's Oscar Piastri then, coming out to the line for McLaren. Can he take pole away from Leclerc? No! Only 5th for Oscar Piastri at best. But this man is looking quick out here. Verstappen is up on Leclerc provisionally. He's coming into Vasquez now. Hamilton's gone quickest through the middle sector. Ferrari and Mercedes and Red Bull are the 3 teams here looking to fight for pole. Norris is in the pits. He's not fighting for pole. This man is, and he's on provisional pole. Verstappen by a quarter of a second has put his Red Bull on provisional pole in Monaco. What can Hamilton do? He misses out. Only 2 tenths off, but he's on the front row provisionally. What about George Russell, who needs a hope for a miracle of a weekend to get back in the championship fight? Russell is coming up to the line now in his Mercedes. Where is it going to be for George Russell? Only 6th fastest. He's not had the pace all weekend here in Monaco, but his teammate is looking to try and take it away from Verstappen. 1 more corner to go, but Kimi Antonelli, can the championship leader take pole away from Verstappen? Yes, he can! Kimi Antonelli has taken pole position in Monaco. What a lap for the Italian. Charles Leclerc is going slow. He's got a rear right poacher because he's tapped the wall, and that will be Kimi Antonelli on pole for the 4th time in Formula 1. And what better way to do it than here on these historic streets of Monte Carlo? Leclerc for pole was his, but it slipped out of his grasp and he hit the wall and lost it. Let's see what happened to Leclerc. Oh no, he got squirrely through the back and hit the wall on the right hand side. That could have been pole for Leclerc, but unfortunately it's not. It's Antonelli on pole in Monaco.
Yes, Kimmy. Nice work, pal. Good man. Well done. 43 milliseconds.
What about that from Kimi Antonelli? He's beaten Max Verstappen for pole position by 43 thousandths of a second. And Antonelli will be looking to make it 5 wins in a row to extend his championship advantage. But what a qualifying that was here in Monaco. These streets always deliver. Antonelli on pole for the Monaco Grand Prix. What's going to happen tomorrow? We'll find out.